Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. We are doing a reading on what is he, she, they doing in the unseen, hidden, dark realm. What do you need to know? And it's anywhere from a 5 to probably 12 or 15 card draws, what I'm going to put on the table for this reading. But we are going to firstly begin with our intuitive messages that come out of the pre-spread. So with this energy that you're looking at or dealing with, it's a diluted energy, which means someone is kind of living in their old world of delusion, self-delusion, kind of spaced out. Their belief systems don't really make a whole lot of sense, common sense. They're like living in a non-reality, a fantasy land. I guess that's a better explanation, or a better extension of the diluted energy explanation or meaning. So this is someone, common sense and reality, it just doesn't line up. It's very, very mismatched or mismanaged energy. They don't make sense living in a non-reality world, living in a fantasy land. Like I said, a delusional energy. So apply that as it lands, or apply it accordingly. Like that will be a different storyline for everybody, because everybody's got their own different stories going on with different subject matter. So also there is a note that this is something for you that you need to do, is because you've been in such a negative energy and in a negative energy environment. You need to cleanse, clear all your energy fields. It's like a buildup of negative energy from within that extends without. And so whether that meaning using singing bowls, going for a walk in nature, getting grounded, listening to music, whatever helps you, get rid of that negative energy, do those kind of things, saging or those kind of things. Anything under the sun, or using crystals or gemstones, that can work too. So for the most part, getting out of negative energy would be suggestive. If you're in the house or spending too many hours in one secluded, isolated place, it would mean going outside for a walk, running uptown for the mail, just getting out of that environment and then walking back in. And a saging of that environment probably is a good idea. And of course, always sage carefully and safely. So cleaning, cleansing energy fields, deleting all negative energy. So use whatever method works for you. That's a different method for everybody that works very, very well, right? We all have our own ways. And if nothing works, try something different, or try a combination of things, right? So there is something else that came in, and this was really, really very high-powered energy, and it was like a drastic change of events. So transformation, this actually came up within about 5 cards of the same meaning when they came out in the pre-spread. So there's going to be a death, a rebirth, a regeneration, a transition, and a huge transformation energy. This not only came up once with the butterfly card, which means all of those things. It's a total change in direction, or a change in path, an end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle coming in. But we also, the Death card, the Tower card, and the Eight of Swords flipped up all in a row as well. So that would mean, what that means is you've been feeling stuck or trapped in your own mind. It's mental inability, or mental things that are stopping you from moving forward. So it's not that you're physically chained to like the doorknob or anything, but in your own mind you feel stuck and trapped. And this can be anxiety, overthinking things to the point where it makes you feel trapped or stuck, but really in physicality and reality world you're not. But this would mean you're staying somewhere in a situation or in a relationship or partnership, just because you feel you have to, or you're stuck or trapped, but you made those scenarios in your mind. It's a mental realm, meaning, you're stressed, you're worried. You could actually walk out the door anytime you wanted to, but for whatever reason, you'll know that reason, you've stayed. Okay. So that essentially comes to an abrupt end. So this can mean you can change your way of thinking. Something happens that triggers that. Now I'm able to walk out the door physically, or walk away from this. Now, however that fits, however that resonates, but it could be, I'm not going to say it's going to be, it might be a shock to you. Maybe that line of no return gets crossed, and might be shocking, where you finally put an end to it. But more than often than not, it's going to be a shock to the person that you're with, whoever you're engaged with, living with, in a relationship with, take it as it lands. But there is going to be an abrupt end. So this could be an abrupt end of the relationship, but it could be an abrupt end to your negative thinking or feeling trapped. You're only thinking you're feeling trapped, but physically you're not, and that comes to an end. So for some reason, there's going to be a surprising ending that comes to the way you're thinking in negativity. That's a good thing. It could be a self-reality check, and also can play out as a self-empowerment tool, a self-empowerment time zone or event or situation or circumstance. Something that basically you cut the chains loose of the mental entrapment, and you leave that way of thinking behind, or you physically leave that relationship or situation or circumstance behind. Apply it accordingly. Something else that came up is stalker energy. Now, this came up in one of my other readings. Now, this won't apply to everybody, but it will certainly apply to some. And stalker energy, being followed, being watched, being, people nosing around in your business behind the scenes that you're not knowing about, asking friends, relatives, acquaintances, checking out social media platforms that you might be on. So be very careful, cautious of what you post out there. And it's one of these things, stay in well-lit places in a public setting, because if somebody actually is stalking you, that's the best place to be. But the point is, pay attention, because there is stalker energy within this reading. And again, that won't apply to everybody, but it will certainly apply to some. Okay, take it as it lands. So to have your heads up, watch your back, and be very, very hyper vigilant as to what's in your environment and what's going on. So there is actually this is actually a good reading, because it's freeing, it's setting free, it's finding freedom ways. Okay, but there's something that came out, was actually a really, really cool message, and you're excited now. There's excitement, there's enthusiasm, excitement now about something. That something is this, but it will be a different storyline for everybody. You're no longer wallowing in the past areas of life of loss or heartbreak or hardships. Now, this has got to do with a relationship. So this would be an example like, things have been very bad for a lot of years, and you've been feeling bad or heartbroken over what's going on, or, a loss of respect within that relationship, or of course, obviously a loss of love. There's the feeling is no longer there. You're probably looking back, thinking about all the heartbreaking feelings, things going sideways, things not going well. And for whatever reason, that's changed. And that will link back to that 8 of Swords, Tower, and Death combination, right? So finally, you know what? I think you've come to terms with it, and you're making peace with it. And when you've made your peace with it, you're ready to move on. And that is the excitement. You put that behind you and are ready to move on. This also came with something else as I was preparing to do this reading, is the term "I don't care." I remember having this conversation with somebody, many years ago. I told them there's a difference between saying "I don't care" and actually meaning it. And I do believe that "I don't care" actually totally fits this whole reading. Meaning, once you actually mean "I don't care," it means it doesn't bother you anymore. You're past the point of no return. You're past the point of things even bothering you. When you say you don't care, it means you really don't care. There's no connection. There's no hang-ups. There's no chains attached. The attachment is come and it's gone. It's a release. It would mean when you get to the point where you actually mean you don't care, it means there's no emotional attachment anymore. It wouldn't matter what that person did. It's got no effect. It doesn't matter. There's no response, zero response. And sometimes that's the best way to handle things, especially if you have people who love to live in drama or the state of drama. It means you don't care, no response. There's just no feeling. There's no response of any kind. It means you cut it free, whatever they do, and it has absolutely zero effect and zero impact on you in any way, shape, and form. I wouldn't confuse this with the word of forgiveness. It just means you don't care. You no longer are interested in engaging. When you mean "I don't care," it means there's no emotional attachment, which means it wouldn't matter good, bad, or indifferent, whatever they said in a drastic, dramatic, maybe arrogant or hurtful way. There's no response. It runs off like water. It wouldn't matter. It's just like whatever, they say whatever negative, hurtful things. And it's like you kind of have that Teflon barrier. It just falls off and you just keep going and you don't miss a stride. And you know what? That's a very, very, very good place to be. That is at a point of neutrality. And it's got no effect. They could do whatever they want in a negative fashion and it runs off like water. It wouldn't matter. You're past the point of engaging or feeling anything negative. It just doesn't matter. And you know what? As long as you're engaging in conflict and anger and emotional outbursts or emotional responses in and a way to their actions, it means as long as you're having an emotional reaction, it means that there's an emotional attachment. Something to think about. No response means you've cut it loose. It doesn't matter anymore. But anytime you have to engage with a return of anger or a response, or you get angry or upset over things, it means there's still emotions there that are tying you to that person or that situation or that circumstance. So just think about that. It's kind of an interesting concept. And meaning I don't care. It's a really, really good freeing way of living because of the reason I just said. It cuts you loose from any response in any fashion. There's no emotional attachment left whatsoever. You know what? You cut them loose, they're on their own. So with that being said, we are going to light the candle. I forgot. That's what we're going to do. And because obviously I forgot to light the candle, it means there's no light, there's no fire, there's no spark left in this relationship. Everything is quite significant when that gets done or doesn't get done in my readings. Okay, again, this is pointing back. We got the Six of Cups. This is a past card. So again, this was the point of you probably thinking about past things, past times with this person. Or this could be someone you're involved with that keeps on bringing up the past. And that might be trigger points. So whatever it is, just to start a fight or a conflict with you, they might be saying things that from the past, just to bring grief and anger and hardship to this relationship. This can also involve somebody from your past, and this can also involve siblings, okay? Siblings or family members. So however, that could be positive or that could be negative. For the most part, I think you might have siblings involving themselves in your affairs. That might be behind the scene. Or the person you're involved with might be stalking you through your family and friends. This is pointing to family and friends or siblings, unfortunately, but that does happen. Take it as it lands. And this can be a past person offering or lending support in your situation as well. Four of Cups. Okay, so this is basically... I don't think I've ever seen this card show up out of this deck before. Four of Cups. This is no longer interested. This is the card of boredom. And in this case, I would say the love is lost. There's no interest anymore in any way, shape, and form. However this applies to whatever relationship behind closed doors, the love is gone, the interest is gone. There's just nothing left. You become basically... roommates, but in a negative energy or environment. It's just like maybe you share a piece of real estate or you share a house together. This also, when this comes up, this is very green in matter. So this might give indication that you might have stayed in this relationship due to money or financial reasons. Or maybe you can't get out because there's too much money invested, or you might have stayed because you might have too much money or property or etc. investments to lose. So take it as it lands. That will be applicable differently for everybody. Now the Four of Cups, again, is a loss of interest. It's a disinterest. It's a loss of love. This can be a loss of respect as well in a relationship. And this, lots of times this card, it depends where the person in the card is looking, but he's actually looking up. So this is like you have a light bulb moment, or there's going to be something coming in when you're sitting there looking for resolutions, answers, conclusions, and it's going to come to you. Often I look at this card, it can be the hand of God, depending on where the person in this card is looking, and he's definitely looking up in the sky. So this is like, you get a light bulb moment, the answer, a resolution to your problem, or maybe you finally see the light and we need to do something. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands. This involves an older female. So these are not gender specific, and this could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Wands are always fire signs, but it's not zodiac specific, nor is it gender specific. So this could either be the husband, wife, it could be marriage, it could be common law, but this, we'll take it as the picture suggests. It's got to do with wife or the female gender in this relationship. And she can be a little hot-tempered, a little hot under the collar. She wants what she wants and she gets what she gets, and it doesn't matter what she it wouldn't matter anybody around her. It's me, myself, and I, and she would want to come first, come hell or high water. So I guess essentially selfish. Self-focused, self-oriented. And I can see why there is a loss of interest and a loss of love, because it would be one person giving, 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 and one person taking, taking, taking. And in this case, I believe it's money or finances. So this could you could be involved with somebody who's very, very greedy and very, very money hungry. Nothing would mean anything to them besides money. Okay, and we have, okay, so here, this is interesting, but I don't normally do reverse readings, but if the cards come up in reverse, they're certainly meant to be read in reverse. We have the feminine. Like, this has got to do with wife. Again, we're going with women because it's actually the queen, but again, this can be husband, wife. It's not gender specific. However, the Empress, this tends to be wife, mother, mom of the house, the female of the house. When you have the Empress in reverse, usually this is the card of fertility and love and starting and the Midas touch and manifesting. It's in reverse order, which meaning the life of this relationship, whatever, is gone, done, finished, over and done with. And you know what? There might be kids involved in here within this reading as well. I just hang on here. I need to turn on a light here. And ironically, I don't think I've ever done that, but with the one light shut off, it means this has been a very, very dark, dismal relationship for quite some time. This can mean a couple things. Again, this is definitely feminine oriented, feminine related. But this is like somebody in the background trying to get something up and going without your knowledge, but they're failing at it. Like, again, this is a card of manifestation, birthing something brand new. Now, this could be you, this could be them. Take it as it lands. It could be a dualistic story here. But they're trying to do something in the background, get something up and running behind your knowledge. You don't know what they're doing without, and I want to say it's got to do with money and finances, setting something up in the background with money, finances, doing something with property, real estate, anything to do with investments, money, doing something in the background that you don't know about. Okay. It's like they're trying to set themselves up for an out when the time comes. Or this could be you. It's a failed attempt of trying to get out of this relationship. So Empress means birth. It means fertility. It means new starts, new beginnings, manifestation. But this in the reverse is exactly the opposite. So you might have actually tried to get out of this relationship more than once, but had failed attempts at it. Take it as it lands, okay? So we are going to pull one of these cards. You've been living in a dark, dismal, cloudy, gloomy time for quite some time. I think that's actually the first time I've ever actually forgot to turn the main light on in this room. Okay, listen to understand, not to respond, not to judge. Okay, when I see this, that would actually play out probably in the reverse. You're involved with someone who doesn't listen. They are full of judgment. They have a listening, they like to talk, but they have a listening problem. And it probably wouldn't have mattered how much you talked or tried to explain about the problems. They just really didn't give a goddamn. It was me, myself, and I. It's self-centered. It's self-focused. They want what they want. And it's like, a very, everybody needs to bow down to me, cater to me energy, a very entitled energy that you're involved with. Listening is a problem. This would be coming in reverse, right? So not listening, not willing to hear, not connecting to words, a lack of understanding, responding without thinking. Okay, that's like the war, ugly, fighting, negative words or arguments. Responding without thinking and having no compassion or sympathy or understanding. This person has got absolutely no empathy you're involved with. They're so self-centered, so self-focused. And being judgmental, casting judgment on others. Very, very disconnected again from reality. Everything you say falls on deaf ears. So when I say living in a world of delusion, this is a perfect example of what what you're dealing with. They live in their own world, and that's the end all be all. There's nothing beyond that. So that would tell me this person's an exceptionally low vibrational person, right? There's nothing beyond me, myself, and I. And the second, I'll just show you this card. So it would be upright, but this would be the reverse, okay? And so the second card we have is happiness is a choice. Remember that. Now, that is going to fall upon you. and that's going to fall upon the other person. That fits perfectly with this reading when I mean being excited and having excitement now and actually meaning the term and the words of I don't care, right? When you reach that dangerous point of freedom, it's absolutely exciting and exhilarating. It runs off like water. So, and I think maybe you just come to terms and realize that happiness is a choice, and I choose not to be part of this negative cycle anymore. Okay, so the reverse of this is not aware of unhappiness, choosing negative or unhappiness, choosing sadness or anger, a lack of being mindful of self-emotions, no choice, no choice. Oh yeah, you're not having any choices, and being forced, people pleasing. Okay, again, this combination fits this situation absolutely perfectly. Again, maybe you've just become aware of your personal emotions and realize that there's nothing there supporting you, or no emotional fulfillment, no love. I think maybe the light bulb might have just went off that this might not be normal when I'm in. And I think probably for a lot of years, however it unfolds, you never had any choice in the matter of anything that went on behind closed doors. Again, is serving entitlement, right? That's a very, very bad habit. Essentially, it would be someone who's been a spoiled adult. And you probably spent a lot of your time in many years trying to people please. And when a person does that, that gets you absolutely nowhere. What it does is it erases respectable boundaries. It erases mutual respect. It causes being taken advantage of. Okay. And pretty soon you change yourself as a person. The soul in you, the person in you, becomes completely somebody else. You've morphed into a different person than what you are. Again, that is all self-awareness work, right? Our shadow work. I think you might realize there is no amount of people pleasing or pleasing this person that's going to make things any better. Which, I mean, this is kind of a sad thing. But in a positive fashion, it means that self-realization, nothing's going to change, and I don't have to tolerate this. Happiness is a choice, right? I choose not to be here. Okay, and I'm going to do a cut out of this deck because the deck is so big. Okay, shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in a business. Now, this is resourcefulness, and this has got to do with a relationship. Okay, and I'm going to cut a second one out of here. Actually, that came up on the pre-shuffle too. Pig. Beware of greed. Okay, yeah, well, that fairly much fits this too. I think you become hyper vigilant at the negative energy within the cycle or relationship, partnership, take it as it lands. And this has got to do with money, and you're involved with someone who's exceptionally greedy, and that actually showed up more than once. Time for a change by the looks of it, so that's good. Okay. Okay, community. Okay, so this particular card, this is the 11th house, which is a nice house. The 11th house means community. It means like-minded groups. It can mean politics even. It can be your group of friends. It can mean internet projects, those kind of things, anything on the internet. This particular thing, this can be the groups of friends or support groups that you have, and you might be contacting them through internet, World Wide Web platforms or social media platforms, but you're connecting with a community that's supportive of you, supportive of your situation. So take this as it lands. That's going to be a different storyline for everybody. But 11th house is community, and that's what it means. It's like minds, it's like-minded groups, it's support groups, it's definitely reaching out over internet. And don't get me wrong, it is not exclusive to only internet, because it can be more than that too. It can be people down the street, and within your community, within your neighborhood. And you might be telling somebody, you might be talking to somebody, you might be getting support, or some know-how, some knowledge, some good advice. And this can also include lawyers or those kind of things for professional assistance or professional opinion. Or bankers, that could be that too. Okay, healing heart. Healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxicity, relationships, or addictions. Again, that is right bang on with the intuitive messages. Okay, you know what? You've been dealing with this, and I think you were coming to terms with the heartbreak and the disappointment, and you're beginning to write that path or begin that cycle of breaking free from toxic people and toxic relationships, or you might even be involved with someone with an addiction problem. So passion, insane chemistry, like each other. Other equally having fun. Okay, these are exactly the same cards that come out in the intuitive messages. You're excited for a new start, and you finally come to the point where you realize this is not the place for me. This is not normal, and I don't have to tolerate this. Again, the death, the rebirth energy, out with the old, in with the new, and the new is absolutely exciting to you. And then we have the snake. Competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. Again, this can be, there can be another woman involved too. I mean, or it could be another man involved. But this is very woman or female or feminine oriented. And when I see this is somebody who runs a competition with everybody. It might be a competition for attention or being the center of attention or having center stage, or it might be somebody who would continually, if you said something, they'd be over talking you, or if somebody asked you a question, they would cut in and answer for you. Okay, again, disrespectful, no respectful barriers or boundaries. Okay, somebody who wants to take over the scene because they feel they need to be the center of attention. It would be a constant competition behind closed doors and in the public with this person. And again, this is tends to be a malicious person in the end. Again, very selfish, self-focused, me, myself, and I oriented. Okay, nobody walks on this earth besides them. Okay, so we're going to pull one card. And again, I keep on looking at the Empress in reverse, meaning as many failed attempts to get out of this. Except I think at this point in time, when you've reached that I don't care meaning fully, it means it's going to be a successful attempt of walking out. I think you realize it's not going to get any better, and some self-awareness and some of that shadow work, realizing, you know what, I deserve better. I work hard in this world, and I'm just done. Okay, and you couldn't get a better card for that too, because we got the Page of Swords. So that's a communication, it's a mental realm, it's a thinking realm. So when you get this card, it's got a couple of things. This can involve kids in this relationship. You might have kids, you might not. But this is a messenger card. It's all about thinking, communication, talking, speaking, email, letter, or in this case, I think in the more mental realm, more mental thinking. That this has got a couple meanings. So the one meaning that, you know what, you realize that there is a problem here and something needs to be done about it. And at this point in time, you're willing to step up to the plate and bring resolution or conclusion to this, because enough is enough. You let it go, you've evaded, you've ignored for far too long, to the point of it's really overstayed its welcome. The expiry date is long overdue, and you've just come to realize it. So now we're ready to do something about this, which brings a death and a rebirth of an exciting new cycle. This can involve kids, like I said. This can involve communication. Every time you have pages, it's always about communication. It can involve young people, of course. The third thing is, again, this can be stalker energy. So take that as it lands. Again, a slightly different storyline for everybody. It will not be for everybody. But when you have this can be somebody stalking, again, your social media. It can be somebody following you around. It can be somebody actually physically stalking you in the everyday, and you might not have realized it. So check out your environment. Be very hyper vigilant what's going on around you, who is around you. This can also be whoever you're dealing with, I guess, pumping people in the background for information about you, where you're at, what you're doing, what's going on in the background, if they know anything. And unfortunately, a lot of these people they're involved with, unfortunately, might have ties to your family. With a Six of Cups, usually is sibling related, okay? Or it's people from your past related. So it would be people you both know, a joint relationship or friendship with the same people or same person, but maybe someone in the background playing two sides of the coin, catering to you, catering to them, being two-faced. It might be somebody in the background you think would be totally trustworthy, but in time you find out it was not the case. They were playing both sides of the coin, being two-faced, telling the other party what you're doing. So just be careful who you trust and be careful who you tell what to, because there's a problem in the background with this. And again, it points to siblings, it points to family, but it points to people from the past in your community. That's possible. But it's definitely people you both know. Two parties, it's people, you as two parties know the same people. So there's something going on in the background in regards to that. Not everybody who smiles at you is actually your friend. And unfortunately, when this person or people get found out, it's a very, very disappointing ending to what you thought was probably a good, solid relationship that was, based on loyalty and respect and integrity. And usually after that kind of damage or that kind of activity or behavior is exposed, you know what, that is, it's never regained. It's never healed. Usually that brings an ending, a conclusion to those types of relationship, which is sad. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That when the damage is done, the damage is done. And most often it's not repairable and there's no going back. Okay, so this card tells you to always operate with high honor, high integrity. Again, this keeps on going back to a female. There is definitely, now we could have two females involved or two males involved, but this says operate in high integrity, high honor, do things respectfully, keep everything above board. And again, when you have high honor, that also falls into that same description of the I don't care. When you reach the true actual meaning, authentic meaning of I don't care, it actually means it doesn't matter what they do, what they say, their actions, how they speak, if they don't speak, if they react, they don't react, what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do. It has absolutely zero impact on you. Go on with life as if they were never there. And just keep in mind, I'm sure at some point, every day it might be dwelling on this person or the situation and the heartache and the disappointment and all the negative things on a daily span that keeps on rotating over and over like the hamster wheel in the brain over and over. So just remember, I'm going to point this out because it's actually an interesting perception that, if you're constantly thinking about this person, which I know you have been in the past, but you're ready to let go of that, that person might as well be there in the room with you, because as long as you're thinking about their energy, you're actually literally connected to their energy. So if you're going to sit there and think about it, it's just like putting them right back in that room with you. And they might as well be right there because you're not letting it go. So just a perception. So you know what? If it's not around you, you want to get rid of it, cut the ties, cut the cords, cut the attachment. And again, that I don't care in an authentic meaning is just total freedom in every way, shape, and form, especially with the mental realm, right? And again, we have, I'll show you this card. And then we have the main female. So now we have, like I said, it's a main female involved. Again, it's not gender specific, but probably. So it's either two females involved, one major female involved, two men involved, or one major man involved, or it can be actually two couples. Okay. Okay. And there's a pathway out of here. Okay, so you are seeing, I like this card. It's a card of 8. It's a card of abundance. It's a card of moving on. When you see the pathway, that's like the light at the end of the tunnel. If you see that, it's bright, bright, bright down that path. And it's a beautiful path. We have butterflies, 2 butterflies. We have 4 butterflies, which means change, death, rebirth, transformation, transition onto a new path. Like, I'm out of here. It's like, someone calls a taxi, you have your bag packed light. I'm the hell out of here because I don't have to tolerate this. And whatever happened that triggered that mindset was a good one. So it's like you finally become aware of your own emotions that are involved, self-awareness, your own emotions. It brings upon self-empowerment. And I think one day you just realize that I don't have to tolerate this. I'm staying because why? The answer is I don't know. I don't know why I stayed this long, but I did. But that's come to an ending. I'm going to pull, let me see, I have all the cards. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to use this, and we're going to pull a character sketch of the person that you're involved with. Again, on the pre-shuffle, it was the hunter-stalker card that came out. So again, this is somebody who's stalking you from behind to a certain degree. I mean, that can be very carried away, not good to just, being nosy, those kind of things. It applies differently. Okay, keeper of epic tales. Okay, so this would be somebody who is a frequent, perpetual, compulsive liar, We have the Bard. So when I say keeper of tales, when I see that, that would mean somebody who is perpetually lying, a compulsive liar. They can't keep up with their lies. They can't keep their lies straight. And so I can see why this got to be very tiresome over the years. This is something that's never changed. Okay, and this is somebody who acts like a total clown. So when I see this clown, this is somebody who, again, a compulsive liar, a perpetual liar. And in the public, I think they become known as a total complete idiot or total complete clown, or they've been found out as a total compulsive liar. No one believes them anymore, and they act childish. Okay, again, a very low vibrational person who would be very childish in nature. Somebody who never grew up, somebody who probably was spoiled as a child, and there's nothing worse than it turns out to be a spoiled adult. At that point, when we have a spoiled adult, very rarely is that ever turned around in this lifetime. It got to be a perpetual rut where that person got away with the behaviors or actions that they've perpetually projected onto people, and they've gotten away with it. But just because they don't change, that's up to them. That's their journey. They got to deal with it. But it doesn't mean anybody in the environment has to tolerate it, right? And this particular reading, I can see where two people came together at one time, probably in the younger years. It probably was very good at one time in the early years. And over time, this would be probably a long-term relationship or partnership. Take it as it lands. But it was good in the first early years. And then what happened to these two people is they grew apart. One evolved, one grew up, one remained the same, basically having a mentality probably of a 12-year-old child, and that's never changed into their adult years. And we know it's adult years because we have male and female. These are older women. Again, could be older men, but somebody who never grew up. They're childish. There's probably some vindictiveness involved in here, a compulsive perpetual liar. And they're basically seen probably as the village idiot or the total clown in the community. Everybody has seen past their lies and illusions. Again, this is somebody who lives in a world of delusion, somebody who lives in a non-reality, somebody who lives in a fantasy land. Their world is completely different from the actual world of reality that everybody else lives in. Again, this would be like somebody who has a very, very high opinion of themselves, but it's only seen by themselves. They probably feel they should be worshipped and a high sense of entitlement. And yet that's their opinion, but the world would see exactly the opposite. But they can't tell the difference. And it's unfortunate because, when this happens, like again, whatever damage has been done within the public respect eye, it's never regained. So when this person sinks, they're going to sink fast and they'll never probably be able to climb out of that rut, what they assigned their, how they portrayed themselves to the public. And they will probably never climb out of that rut of the reputation they just created for themselves. So again, that's why this reading basically says make sure you operate in high honor, high integrity, because you don't want to look the same as them. And good for you. This is a great reading of, I don't care, and, cut the ties, I'm out of here kind of thing. And whatever they say, whatever they do runs off like water off a Teflon frying pan. Like that is one of the best liberating feelings I can actually tell you is I don't care. Not just saying it to say it, but I don't care as I mean it. It just doesn't matter. They could do whatever they want to try to trigger you, pick fights with you, and you just keep on walking. You don't give it a second look. And again, when that I don't care, that means you detach from that person in the mental realm. You stop thinking about them and you stop giving them that power to control your mind. So just remember, every time you're actually thinking about somebody or something, you're actually engaging in their energy. So just keep that in mind and don't allow someone to have that power over you, because obviously in this situation, they are certainly not worth it. And this is long overdue to cut the ties, be done with this. It's a spoiled, out of date relationship, partnership. Take it as it lands. It's kind of like it got to the point of expiration where it turned completely rotten and it's moldy, it's old, it's time to throw it out. Okay, so that will, I was going to say that concludes it, but I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to take one more card off this. We'll take this one right here. No, we won't. Let's try this again. I'm going to pick a conclusion card. I don't often do this, but I want to because I feel the need, because I want to see how this turns out. So a conclusion card or the next step card. I would say conclusion, the next step. Someone new is entering your life. Good for you. Nice. Chair filled. So again, this is a next step. Someone new is going to enter your life. This is a new cycle. This is beautiful. I can see why you're excited. And again, this is going to be probably somebody from your past, somebody from your community. This is going to be somebody you know. Very likely somebody from your community or somebody from your past that you knew well. It's a reconnection. Very nice. It says somebody new, but I don't think so. This is going to be somebody from your past that shows back up. Okay, so that's your next step. Super cool. So we will end the reading there. And so take the reading as it resonates with you. And remember, the readings are for every state of consciousness, right? We're all on our own journey and evolution in level of awareness. And so if you like the reading, claim it, seal it with a midnight kiss. And if you don't like it, ditch it, leave it. Remember, we are always, always, always at free will choice. So may this shine on you in a positive way. So wishing you health, happiness, and many mixed blessings always. It's been an absolute pleasure reading for you today. So until we talk again, stay happy, stay healthy, take care of yourself and each other. Bye for now.